All right. Yeah. Apparently, I was talking into a muted mic for the last like minute or so. Sister actually pointed it out to me, so I do appreciate that. What's going on, Constantine? What's going on, Bomb? What up, Nick? What up, William? What's going on? Blessings and love to everybody as always. Yeah. So tonight's going to be a very interesting night because I do have my sister like with me here tonight, and she's going to be a part of tonight's stream. And it's gonna be hopefully a short one. Like I hope it doesn't really like be like one of those 3 hour long streams that sometimes or most of the time happens here. Uh, Bomb. What's going on, Variety TV? What's going on, Emily? Yeah. So like I was trying to say before my sister pointed out the muted mic. My sister and I are not experts in this field. We're not theologians. We're not Bible scholars. Nothing like that. However, we do have a decent amount of knowledge when it comes to biblical matters and topics. And yeah, she's going to help me with information. We're going to go through the verses or some of the verses that have to do with this topic. We're going to talk about it. We're going to give, obviously, the biblical perspective, and we're also going to give, kind of like our point of view of the biblical perspective. Before I bring her on, though, if you guys would be so kind to share the stream or channel with your friends and family forward, I'll appreciate it. Also, if the moderators can add some of the links to the live chat while my sister gets ready to be on, any of the links will be appreciated. I'm not going to say which one specifically, but y'all know what to do. And William says, "Yep, glad I found your channel. Yep, appreciate that. That means a lot to me." Frankie says you shouldn't get that much thought or time. He isn't worth it. While this is true, and I do agree, the Bible does tell us to learn the strategies of our enemy, and there's a reason behind that. If we're not prepared and or understand how the devil works, we're not going to understand how to protect ourselves and fight a worthy battle against the enemy himself and the armies of darkness. So yeah, God does pretty much command us to be ready for war, whether it be spiritual warfare, war in the mind, in the heart and soul, spirit. Be ready for war at all times, and the only way to do that is to get to know the strategies of the enemy. And the way of doing that is, through the Bible and understanding how the enemy works. So, all right. Yeah, I'm so sorry about that. What's going on, Jesus, Mr. Greek God? What's going on, brother? Yeah, definitely. Frankie says he's a Bible reader and doesn't give too much info on him. I would respectfully disagree, but yeah. Yeah, Constantine says this spiritual war is the most crucial humanity has ever faced. And spiritual warfare and the spirit realm itself is more real than this physical realm that we're in right now. So let that sink in. But yeah, so to present my sister formally and officially, she is obviously my baby sister. We're about 8 years apart. She is a singer. She's a pianist, a musician altogether, along with a great. How do I say this? A very good programmer in different forms, if that makes any sense. Visual arts, graphic arts, graphic design, anything that has to do with UX design. You want to add to your portfolio here, so I can no. I'll cut it short. I mean, love her to death. She's very involved within the faith. She's very involved and active within the church that she is a part of right now, which is the one that I'm visiting as well. And yeah, you want me to say your actual name or just call you D, just to protect your name, even though some people already know your name.
I mean, it's not that they can pronounce it right anyway, but yeah,
I'll
just
just
start with the letter D. Once they handle that letter well, I guess you can give them the rest.
all right. So she's giving me permission just to call her D for now. But yeah, so yeah, her second name's Rachel, so I guess I'll just go with that, Rachel. And yeah, I'm gonna let her talk a little bit about herself. Let her introduce herself formally to the chat. I kind of like already introduced her, but if she wants to add anything to what I just said, she can. If not, then we'll just get right into it. You have any words?
Hey, what's up, everybody? My name is, I'm just gonna say it, but I know it's hard to pronounce anyway. Dahilian, Rachel, Jorge's sis. I'm just here to just be a while with you guys and chat a little bit. You basically said everything. I'm a worship leader. What part of the worship group at my church? Um, I like graphic arts. Anything that's design, like that's kind of me. I like to travel. Anything that's music related, that's me. So real fun to be here with you guys.
Awesome. All right. William says, hi, Rachel. And my wife is asking, did she say Dailiana? Close, very close. If you take away
That A
yeah, that A at the end, then
and
you have
add
it.
an I.
Let me just write it here. No?
That's okay. That's okay.
All right, all right, all right. So we're gonna right into it, and I'm gonna read a biblical verse that has a lot to do with what we're gonna talk about tonight. And just a quick reminder, all right, the point of tonight's stream, right, is to talk about how the fall of Lucifer slash Satan has affected mankind since that happened all the way up until now, and how it'll continue to affect humanity all the way until the end. Yeah, so the Bible verse I'm going to read right now, uh, for the most part, this is kind of like the main verses that is brought up when talking about the fall of Lucifer and all that, and we'll go from there. But yeah, so it's found in Isaiah, right? The book of Isaiah, chapter 14, verse 11 and forward, right? So here we go. It says, well, in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost, amen. It says, your pomp and magnificence have been brought down to Sheol, along with the music of your harps. And guys, I want you to keep that line right there in mind, okay? Along with the music of your harps. The maggots, which prey on the dead, are spread out under you as a bed. Just in case you're wondering why it's like phrased a little differently, or there's like added commentary, is I'm using the amplified version of the Bible. All right, so keep that in mind. Okay, so I'll start from the very beginning. Okay, Isaiah chapter 14, verse 11 from the Amplified Translation Bible. Your pomp and magnificence have been brought down to Sheol, along with the music of your harps. The maggots, which prey on the dead, are spread out under you as a bed, and the worms are your covering, Babylonian rulers. Have you fought? How you have fallen from heaven, O star of the morning, light bringer, son of the dawn. You have been cut down to the ground. You have weakened the nations, king of Babylon. But you said in your heart, I will ascend to heaven. I will raise my throne above the stars of God. I will sit on the mounts of assembly in the remote parts of the north. I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will make myself like the Most High. But, in fact, you will be brought down to Sheol, to the remote recesses of the pit, the region of the dead. Those who see you will gaze at you. They will consider you, saying, is this the man who made the earth tremble, who shook kingdoms, who made the world like a wilderness, and overthrew its cities, who did not permit his prisoners to return home? All the kings of the nations, all of them lie dead in glorious array, each one in his own sepulchre. But you, king of Babylon, have been cast out of your tomb, denied burial, like a rejected branch, clothed with the slain who are pierced by the sword, who go down to the stones of the pit, into which carcasses are thrown like a dead body trampled. All right. So in that verse, well, in these verses that I just read, yeah. Okay. So I am gonna read it in Spanish. Wait, hold on. Give me 1 second. All right. Give me 1 second, guys. Um, I'm gonna do this one. Just gonna look for the actual verse. All right. So let me read some of the comments because okay. Um, Dream floor. I was getting confused because I've seen the dream. No, Pops is not stopping by tonight. But at some point, I would love to have him on here, just so he could give some of his knowledge, because I mean, to a certain degree, he is somewhat of a scholar when it comes to the Bible. So it'd be nice to have him on here at some point. Um, Amen. Okay. Okay. All right. So now that we're caught up with the comments, my bad, y'all. Okay, so we read those verses, right? And we read that portion of that chapter, right? And technically, all right, it's talking about the king of Babylon at the time, right? It was Isaiah talking to directly to the king of Babylon at the time. However, throughout the Bible, there's portions that have more than one meaning to them, meaning that sometimes someone will be talking to someone directly, but at the same time, they'll be foreshadowing that conversation towards somebody else. And there's different examples of that throughout the Bible. But this being like one of those main ones that everybody goes to, right? And before I continue, then you want to add anything? No? All right. So yeah, for the most part, every actual Bible scholar talks about how yes, technically, it's talking to the king of Babylon at the time, right? Calling him out and all this other stuff. But at the same time, it was telling a story and painting a picture of what happened with Lucifer, right? Whenever Daniel's done with that, I'm gonna look into a specific line that is mentioned, and it's pretty much like giving you like a clear picture of who was like Lucifer in heaven, right? Lucifer in heaven before he got casted down, uh, and pretty much like shunned from heaven altogether, uh, was the lead worshiper in heaven. Um, let me just change this back. Verse 7. Okay. Actually, no. Is it this one?
Sorry.
I heard it. Okay. So in verse 11, you know how I told you guys to keep a certain line of verse 11 in mind, right? The one that says, along with the music of your harps, right? So there's other verses that go a little bit more in depth about Lucifer's position and role while he was in heaven. He was the one who led worship in heaven, basically, right? And the way he did that was with music. His harp. He's pretty much like the most looked upon, or I guess second in command when it comes to, or first in command actually, when it came to like the angels and all that. And once again, I'm not an expert. I'm not a Bible scholar, none like that. But in the past, reading through some of these verses and going a little bit in depth about, this whole topic, that's pretty much like what it brings up is Lucifer was indeed lead angel. It was almost to a point where it was like he was almost like God's like right hand man to a certain degree. Don't quote me on that, but that's pretty much like what it sums up to when you really dig deep about that information. But yeah, so that being the case, right, that Lucifer was in charge of music and worship in heaven, okay, that officially translated to him being like pretty much like lead in whatever he's been doing since his fall up until now, along with or through music. What do I mean by that? Well, very simple. As far as we know, in the secular mainstream world, okay, there is a strong belief that those who give their life to Satan, Lucifer, however you want to call him, the enemy, and already have certain gifts in their possession, which are indeed God given, because God is the one who gives gifts. However, when people decide to give their gifts to the enemy then in turn uses that gift uh, for his power and for what his agendas are being built around of. Then you want to add anything up until now?
No, I'm just listening. Just really good. This is now.
I mean, it'd be nice to hear your opinion.
Yeah, I'll go along the way.
All right.
My opinions are very like simple and straightforward. Because I do kind of go with the line that Frankie was saying, and I do get your line as well. Sometimes we focus so much on a certain character, and I know that's not the case with Jorge or JDQ. I'm sorry. But I'm like kind of like the opposite. So I'm just like waiting for him to actually, go on like a full script and just give you guys the information that is still very important for us to actually know. This is always good to know both sides anyway. Um, then I can give you like a positive one later.
All right. All right. We'll wait for that well thought out and well prepared opinion later on in the stream. But okay, so if we go back to the verse, right, and I think it's on number 12. Yes, Isaiah chapter 14, verse 12. How you have fallen from heaven, right? And then there's a commentary that I'm actually going to see if I can expand on. There we go. It says many students of the Bible have felt that the passage which follows applies to Satan. All right, and this is why I use the amplified version uh, of when I use the app of the Bible. It says, yeah, many students of the Bible have felt that the passage which follows applies to Satan. It is clear from the larger context that the passage addresses the king of Babylon, what I was saying earlier, but that does not rule out a secondary reference to Satan. Exactly what I said earlier. Many commentators are of the opinion that the arrogance expressed here is satanic, and that the passage correctly represents Satan's attitude because he was working through the Babylonian ruler. The Hebrew for this expression is translated Lucifer, light bringer, or light bearer, in the Latin Vulgate and is translated this way in the King James Version. But because of the association of that name with Satan, it is not used in this and other translations. Some students feel that the application of the name Lucifer to Satan, in spite of the long and confident teaching to that effect, is erroneous. That the application of the name to Satan has existed since 3rd century AD and is based on the supposition that Luke chapter 10, verse 18 is an explanation of Isaiah chapter 14, verse 12, which many authorities believe is not true. Lucifer, the light bringer or the light bearer, is the Latin equivalent of the Greek word phosphorus, which is used as a title of Christ in chapter 2, Peter chapter 1, 19, and corresponds to the same radiant and brilliant morning star in Revelations chapter 20, 22nd, verse 16, the name Jesus called himself. This passage here is in Isaiah chapter 14, verse 12, clearly parts of the king of Babylon. All right, so like this pretty much goes with what I was saying earlier. It is strongly believed, even though right here saying like that it's like it could be erroneous or it might be erroneous. Many of the greatest scholars, trying to remember the one that so like we from a lot, Max Lucado, or I know there's one specific Bible scholar or theologian that has many books and actually expands on the idea and the supposition that this indeed is actually correct to kind of like side reference Satan or the devil through the verse that it's talking to the king of Babylon. But yeah, so going back to the actual verse itself, it says, you have been cut down to the ground. You have weakened the nations, king of Babylon. But you said in your heart, I will ascend to heaven. I will raise my throne above the stars of God. I will sit on the mount of assembly in the remote parts of the north. I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will make myself like the Most High. You know what's really, really interesting is, time and time again, whether it be in Genesis or in this passage that we're reading right now, the enemy, Satan, Lucifer, however you want to call him, has either always tried to trick mankind into believing this idea that we can be just like God, right? Or bigger than God, or like more than God, or as God, right? Right. And to a certain degree, we do have many characteristics that are of God or godly, right? However, God will always be God. There will always only be one God. Period. There is no other God, but Jehovah Himself, right? And yeah, it's funny how what caused the fall of Satan himself or Lucifer himself is that same exact thought that he could place his throne above God Himself and be higher than God or higher than the Most High. That's it's like kind of like he tried to, since he knew already that he was like thrown out and with no option or no way of getting back into heaven. He knew that because of that same mistake that he made, right? And pretty much like screwed mankind over by presenting them with the same exact thought of them being able to be just like God or more than God, right? So, that being said, from that point all the way up until now, right, he has been using those same lies time and time again. The first lie being that, when someone makes a contract, quote unquote, with the devil, right, and the devil or the enemy says, hey, if you sign your soul to me, basically, I'll give you anything and everything you ever want here on earth, and you'll be just like a god here on earth, and you'll be probably more than God here on earth. If you do as I ask you to do for me, or as I walk you to do like for me, or if you allow me to work through you, I'll give you that and more. He even offered the same thing to Jesus. Like when Jesus was doing the 40 days and 40 nights of his fasting, the enemy presented himself and said the same thing. Hey, if you bow to me, I'll give you all this. I'll give you all these kingdoms and all this other stuff. It's the same lie that he tries to, well, actually, he effectively gets a lot of people with that, but he attempts at getting a lot of people with that day in, day out, right? Tricking people into believing that lie. And at the same time, using his former ability, right, to weaken the nations through music, right, and through his abilities of I don't want to say just through music, but he has a certain talent, gift, and ability to this day to where he is able to subtly, sneakily, like snake his way in through music, right? And whether it be subtle or whether it be blatant, he has always done this, and he continues to do this through like celebrities, artists, mainstream artists, secular artists, so on and so forth. Um, yes, yeah, Frankie says something very true. When Satan left heaven, he took 33% of the angels with him. Yeah. Yep. Correct. But yeah, so I'm gonna kind of like catch a breath here because I've done a lot of talking right now. But if Rachel wants to add on anything to what I just said, cool. If not, then it's not a big deal. Let me just try to read some of y'all's comments. Oh, okay. Emily presented Isaiah chapter 14, verses 11 to 12. All right, cool. Constantine, with a great comment, says they have certain demons that represent certain music instruments.
That's interesting.
I was about to say that is very interesting. And I know Constantine has been wanting to like talk about these topics for a while now, and I've been meaning to like bring him on here, and we're definitely going to do that at some point eventually soon because of the points that he always makes from time to time. And this is one of those comments that really catches my eye and my interest, and I do have to like brush up on that information and look into it. But I'm sure he has answers like this. Constantine says Satan tuned Robert Johnson's guitar at the crossroads. Boy had no talent, but came back playing like three pros playing at once. Kind of like Jimi Hendrix, right? I think it's the same story of Jimi Hendrix and what's this other guy? Uh, the guy that used to play piano. He's somehow related to this preacher. Oh my goodness, I forget his name, yo. But anyways, yeah, there's been like many like well-known musicians and music artists that two things: either they had no talent at all and sold their soul to the devil and came back with like some of the greatest talent ever known to mankind, and or people that already have talent, but you know, the devil just kind of like channels demons through them with like their singing or their frequencies. That's the other thing. There's frequencies that singers allow themselves to be used by or with that cause certain types of like reactions from the our spirit, our soul, if you will, our bodies, our minds. You know, that's a whole nother topic. But and I would love to bring Constantine to talk about that because I'm pretty sure he knows more about that than I do. But yeah, there's certain frequencies that kind of like mess with our psyche and mess up with our brain and kind of like cause even chemical disbalances and all this other stuff. Um, let's see. There was violinist too from centuries back. I forget his name. His violin even got struck by lightning while he was playing. Well, that is interesting. Yep. Yeah, that's what we were just getting at earlier. We literally just kind of like mentioned that like maybe like 5, 6, 7 minutes ago. Um, that is correct, and that's kind of like why he was placed at the position that he was placed in heaven. You know, he was the lead. He was the lead of worship, and that kind of like tells you a lot of like what music can do. Because if you're in charge of all of God's angels, okay, and leading them into worship, think of it. Just sit down and think about that for a second and let it sink in. Lucifer, before the fall, okay, was the appointed angel for worship in heaven, meaning all the other angels in existence up until that point followed Lucifer in worship. You know what I'm saying? He not only led, but he was the greatest angel. Okay, and it's also said. I have to look up the information in the verse, but it's also said that God's splendor and God's glory reflected off of Lucifer. Think about that. Let that sink in. Let that sink in. Okay. What do you think is going to happen when the greatest angel, okay, in existence, lead of worship, and the one to reflect God's glory falls, okay, and is now in the midst of humanity? What do you think is going to happen? You know, that's not too. You don't have to do too much thinking. You know, his ability and all these talents that he has are not taken away from him. He still has those same talents and abilities, those same gifts. The only difference is that now, instead of trying to become the most high or be like the most high, since he knows he's not going to get to that at all or not even close, he is going to do his best to reign here on earth. And actually, I want my sister to look up a verse while I keep talking over here. But the one that talks about how Satan is the governor of this world or something along those lines. All right, hold on. Give me 1 second, guys. I know I'm like
I think
yeah.
bottom line, with all that information that Jorge, I'm sorry, JDQ
That's all right. They know
gave
me either
us.
way.
Overall, it's just so important just to know what is it that you're listening. It's like no brainer, when you listen to the lyrics, even visuals. Like we've seen in the past couple of months, like um the latest concerts that we've seen, like the visual effects. As a person that works with visual identity, and design, there's a lot of like psychology, like in like everything that is done in a concert visually, um, and in music, as well. So it's just overall, what are you like feeding your soul with? Think bottom line, that's basically what it is. What are you feeding your mind, your soul with? What kind of music you let your ears um, put attention to? So yeah, I don't know if you want to add anything to that.
No, that was good. That was very well said. And that's something that this channel kind of like mostly strives to like point out is, you know, understand that what you listen to will cause a transformation, whether the for better or worse in your life, in your mind, your soul, your spirit, your heart, right? So this channel, for the most part, we go through and analyze certain artists of the mainstream and secular music industry, and we go into like why it's not beneficial to listen to them, or if there's anything good to take from whatever they make, we do that too,
Yeah,
because there is positive and good things sometimes to take away
exactly.
from their work. And at the same time, we do obviously bring to the table what Christ-like or Christian musicians have to bring to the table and have to offer, and it's kind of like not really put them head to head. I don't like saying that, but pretty much comparing, and kind of like really digging into what is more beneficial for your life. Not even want to say anything else before you leave, because I know you gotta leave. It's been half hour ish.
No, it's been a pleasure. Yeah, keep up the good work. Yeah, overall, like just be careful what you're feeding your ears. Um, it's so important, like vital for your mind, soul, and spirit. I'm always, um, how do you say, like take that on the like
Oh, just kind of like summarizing, or
not like take that on the like I was like constantly
oh,
ongoing with
okay,
the aspect of mental health, spiritual health,
right,
and how they're very similar. Same way, what are you feeding your body, like trash food, healthy food. Same goes with your soul, like what kind of music you're letting come to your soul, because it does make a big impact, I can tell you for sure. What is that you listen to? So just enjoy this time, get the info that you need, and use it for good, so you can keep growing in the faith and etc. in your life, in your spirit.
man, man.
Yeah.
All
Peace.
right, all right. Well, I'm gonna have
Peace and love.
she says peace and love, y'all. And I will have her back definitely for another stream. Hopefully, we can like do it a little better and prepare a lot more to give y'all like a lot more information. I'm going to continue for a few more minutes, just because I have like a few more things that I want to say before I leave, like, actually like end the stream. But yeah, but it was nice to have like my sister on here with me. It was always good to have a second opinion, and because we don't entirely think the same way sometimes, and it's good to have a different perspective on these matters and topics. So yeah, and no, no, man, I am not. I repeat, I am not. Nor will I ever be a Travis Scott fan. I know, Dream Flora was kidding here, but no, I have to say it out loud so just that it's clear. But I'm gonna let
That's a
my sister
nice.
go. She's gonna be back next time. She says, "Peace out, guys, and peace and love and all that good stuff." All right. So before I end the stream, because I'm gonna be like maybe like I don't know, hopefully not until 11, but maybe until 11 p.m. We'll see what happens. I guess how long it takes me to say what I gotta say. But yeah. So yeah, Constantine actually brought a good point. She my bad, bro. He says I was still thinking about my sister. He says 440 hertz in music was widely put in use by Nazis. Natural resonance of Earth is 432 hertz. YouTube removed all the songs that people retuned to 432 a few years back. That is very interesting, and I'm pretty sure that has to do with like what I was saying earlier, how frequencies have a lot to do with things that are, a lot of people are able to do with those frequencies. Some of those frequencies have to do with like MK Ultra, mind control. Other frequencies cause actual hallucinogen type of effects. Other frequencies cause depression. Other frequencies cause, happiness. Other frequencies cause an elevation of the mind to a certain degree, right? And these are all things to know, because once again, if you know the enemy's devices and the enemy's strategies and the enemy's like tools and how he uses his tools and weapons of warfare, you're able to better prepare yourself and equip yourself to not only protect yourself, right, but to fight back and attack back, right? So yeah, frequencies. Correct me if I'm wrong, Constantine, but along with everything that I just mentioned, that frequencies are capable of, there's even YouTube videos that dedicate their content to making certain frequency videos to cause relaxation. Some of them cause concentration and focus. Other frequencies cause like a better, supposed better dreaming results and all this other stuff. Frequencies. Listen, when it says that, I'm trying to remember the verse that it talks about. And this actually, hold on. All right, so I looked up this verse because I want to bring it up. Yes, binaural beats. Thank you. Appreciate that. That's exactly what I was looking for. Yeah, man, it's a real thing. And many people claim to, actually get something out of it and actually like say that it works. I've never tried it myself. I was told by one of my coworkers a few years back at the airport to give it a try because I was telling them how I was having trouble like concentrating and all this other stuff. They recommended that, and I looked into it, but I never went through of actually listening to any of the binaural beats that I looked at. Um, yeah, see, yes, people will listen to them and be uplifted, have spiritual experiences, etc. They're usually tuned to 432. Now, let me just say this. Let me just say this. For those of you who say, "Oh, the spiritual realm isn't real," "Oh, that's just that's just mad crazy talk or whatever," "Oh, that's not like a real thing." Listen, people who have been or were Satanists or Luciferians or witches or warlocks and have actually converted to Christ, okay, not another religion, not another cultural thing. When they converted to Christ, when they accepted Christ as a Lord and Savior, okay, many of them, if not most of them, have testified to, yeah, them having the ability to do astral projection, go from where they're at in the spirit realm and go to like another state in the spirit and cause trouble, and then in the spirit come back. So it's a real thing, guys. It's a real thing. Once again, like I said earlier in the stream, the spiritual realm and spiritual warfare is 10 times more real than the physical realm. What you and me experience on a daily basis is nothing. It's nothing compared to what happens in the spiritual realm, right? Um, uh, Constantine says, I have a few months back while falling asleep and it gave me a wild dream. You should talk about 5-MeO DMT like, nah, man. I get what you're saying, but we'll see. We'll see what happens when the growth of the channel continues. Um, yeah, bro. Thank you for bringing that up. I didn't even know because I've been so. Oh, this is another thing I wanted to bring up. Okay, so let me just say this. Okay, and this I was going to say this on the other channel on the stream, but I guess I reserved myself for this stream. Right? It has been years. Okay, I want to say since 2015 or 2012, since I actually opened my eyes, like to see life like for what it really is, right? And since that point up until now, I almost have completely disconnected myself from like mainstream stuff. Okay. So like I don't keep up with like artists anymore. I don't keep up with sports anymore. I don't keep up with the news as much anymore. Just it depends on what it is. I don't keep up with any of that stuff anymore. And so, when I talk to people, for the most part, it's kind of like messed up because they'll throw so much information at me, like, oh, did you hear about this, this, and this, this, and this, and this guy, and this guy, and this sports, this game or whatever, and I'll be like, nah, and they'll be like, yo, so what do you do? If you like, how can you like not being paying attention to like any of this? I'm like, bro, because to me, none of that like matters anymore. And no offense to anybody that follows like sports or like keeps up with like music artists and keeps up with like actors or whatever, celebrities. That I don't have anything against whoever does keep up with all that. That's fine. That's okay. But ever since I actually woke up and like opened my eyes for like the first time years ago, I didn't find any of that productive, any of that to actually help my life or build my life up. So I stick to things that either build me up as an individual, build up my spirit, build up my mind, my heart, my soul, my and of course things that I believe are worth fighting for, right? Like like catching the predators, right, or the pedophiles, or at least giving a platform for people who do catch these predators and pedophiles, and that's stuff that I believe is worthy of sharing and getting involved with, and looking at information about and digging deep about, right? But I don't want to. How do I say this? Uh, I don't want to upset anybody when they show or share information with me, and I'm just like, oh, I didn't know about that, or I didn't know that, or you know what I'm saying? It's not that I'm clueless. It's not that I've like completely entirely lived under a rock for years. It's I choose to kind of like not get involved with certain topics and information. You know what I'm trying to say? Like I don't want no one to like feel bad. Like if they try to talk to me about something or a certain topic and I'm like, oh, I don't know, I don't know, I don't know. Don't feel bad. It's just I have chosen to not, be as involved anymore with all those topics. Um, yes, Constantine keeps bringing up good points. He says yes, and they use spiritual realm to influence us all the time. What do you think 5G is all about? Correct. They got entities out there conducting that dirty business, and we don't see it on this plane. um, yeah. Hmm. Interesting. Interesting. Jesus says right before Astro World Fest, Travis dropped two songs, Escape Plan and Mafia, which, by the way, everything that they do is planned. Nothing is coincidence or random. No, it's everything is planned. Keep up with big media because I think, yes, I do agree with that. And that's why I said earlier, it all depends. It all depends the news and information that comes out. If I deem it worthy of like warning others about or sharing it with others so they can better prepare themselves. Like the whole 5G thing. Alex and me have talked about it before on the phone. How when the whole pandemic started, that's right, I said pandemic. I don't care if my channel gets flagged or whatever, but that's what it is. Um, Before or while it was happening, like in the very beginning, and I was still having to go to work at the airport, uh, mind you, there was barely like no one allowed to be on the streets, okay, at the time. Only like police or people that were supposedly like emergency responders and whatever. And I was considered to be one of those emergency responders, right? Working at the airport as TSA. So I was driving home, I mean, driving to the airport a bunch of times, right, throughout the beginning of the pandemic. And I seen like these weird different poles being erected You know what I'm saying? Like what do you call it? Oh my goodness, I forget the name of it. Y'all know what I'm talking about though. Like the actual um network polls. I know there's a name for it, but right now I can't remember. But yeah, I know what I'm talking about. There was certain things being lifted, and I seen it, and I seen how like they tried to make it look like something else. They try to make it look like trees, but it was clearly something else. So, uh, yep, I still get those cell towers. Yes, correct. That's what I was thinking about. Yep, yep. So, William says mental health is it's worse it's ever been. People live in fear by fake news about the virus. They stop people going to the talk to that we need. Yep. But yeah, guys. So okay, that I hope y'all understood what I was trying to say with everything I just said about me just kind of like choosing to like not be in the know of certain things. For example, I don't believe in the left and the right. I have, since maybe 10, 12 years ago or more, like 15 years ago, I have not believed in the left and right divide. I don't believe in the government. I don't believe that, you know, in my eyes and in my opinion, and in the years that I've been like looking into it, you know, they all work together to a certain degree. To a certain extent, they work together. There is not one side better than the other. It's a fake illusion, or sorry, it's an illusion that has been brought to our eyes to think that, oh, but my vote counts, or our vote counts, or I believe in this ideology, but I don't believe in that ideology, and vice versa. It's all an illusion to create the illusion of us having a chance, of us having an opportunity to change things. It's an illusion that we have a voice, that our opinion matters, right? Just as there's like illusions all across the board of like Pepsi and Coca Cola, it's essentially the same thing. There is no actual like real, true, genuine like difference. You know, it's all in all the same thing. So because of that, because of all that, yeah, I stopped. I just kind of like stopped myself from like continuing to keep up with all this nonsense, you know? Yep, exactly right. Constantine says, Dream, I watch mainstream sometimes to know my enemy. That's exactly why we're doing tonight's stream. And that's exactly why this channel is dedicated to going pretty much like digging deep as we can dig on, mainstream or secular artists, and to kind of like show them what they're really about. Um, yeah, Calvin Constitution happened. Yep. William says, "Do you believe government's trying to control everyone? Yeah, they say they swear to God, kill 500,000 unborn babies." Yeah, man. I don't believe in the government. Period. Like at all. Like at all. At all. I don't believe in the system. I don't believe that any of them that are uh, selected, because that's the other thing. They're not voted in. They're placed in. I don't believe in what any of them have to like offer. Yep. So Second of Corinthians chapter 4, verse 4, right? It says, among them the God of this world, parentheses, Satan, has blinded the minds of the unbelieving to prevent them from seeing the illuminating light of the gospel of the glory of Christ, who is the image of God. Now, yeah, that verse alone tells you, you know what I'm saying, just how deceptive Satan is, deceptive the enemy is, right? Once again, having the same abilities and talents and gifts that he had while he was in heaven, He's using it to deceive and continue deceiving uh, humanity, and is going to keep doing that all the way until the end, until all this is over. You know, he's not going to stop. He does. Let's put. I'm gonna put it to you this way: because he know he's already doomed, and I've said this before in one of my past streams, because he already knows he is doomed to damnation to all eternity. He don't want to be there alone. Like, who wants to suffer alone, right? So he's gonna try to drag down as many people as he can, right? So yeah, thank you for highlighting that. And yes, that is a good point that Emily brought, saying they view us as sheep, leading us to the slaughter. And to add to that, you know, it's really crazy. A few years back, it was discovered that there was uh, children meat found in McDonald's, like burgers and products, right? It was fetuses found in McDonald's, like burgers or food, and at the restaurants. You know, baby parts, baby feet, baby hands, just straight up like baby fetuses within the McDonald's food, right? And yeah, like a lot of people got to investigating, and there were so many videos and so many streams out there digging deep into the information of like why this stuff was being found. And you know, it led to a Zionist group, right? That reportedly even admitted to like doing this, having like the meat produced in a specific factory to where they used fetuses to, you know, pretty much like fill the burger meat, right? And they admitted to it. They said, yeah, you know, that's the food of the as Alex would say, as to the when Alex says playing around Goyim or whatever, right? And he's doing his character as oh my god, I forgot his name now, Gordon Flowers. Yeah, like that's the same way they actually talk. The Zionists, they're like, yeah, that's what they're going to deserve is um that's the type of food that is for them, you know, trash, unborn babies, like fetuses inside the meat, all this other stuff. Yep, there you go. There you go. And the information, you know what's funny is people like to like, you know, say, oh, you know, conspiracy theories, and you know they're crazy, you know, they're not looking at reliable sources or whatever. But in reality, yo, like if that were true, if that were really true, then the mainstream type corporations, you know, like if they supposedly know that, you know, people are crazy and conspiracies are like really wrong, whatever, they sweep they sweep things so under the rug, and they hide so much information that is put out there, that what are you afraid of? What are you afraid of? That you have to sweep all these videos and all this information that's coming out under the rug? Oh, because they're gonna say supposedly that they're trying to protect people so that people aren't misled or misinformed, right? But yo, if it's not true and people won't be able to connect any dots, why sweep it under the rug? Why? What are you scared of? What are you afraid of? What do you think the people are gonna like find? You know, that you have to like deflect so many in so many different ways, whether it be through comedy, whether it be through just brushing stuff under the rug, or just kind of like saying that it's misinformation. What are you afraid of? And I'm talking to Google, I'm talking to YouTube, I'm talking to Facebook, I'm talking to all these different like mainstream secular platforms that are supposed to be, you know, freedom of speech friendly, but are not. Oh, that's right, Chet Goldstein. Hmm. Yep. I'm reading y'all's comments, by the way. That's why I'm over here like, hmm agreed, agreed. Yeah, these are the meaningful conversations. Um, really good to have. And it's kind of like a little like messed up that that I'm almost here like by myself, but I'm not because I'm with you guys, and you guys are obviously bringing a lot of good points to the conversation. Obviously, like this one right here. But yeah, like I'm hoping for the day that I can get the schedule right with some of my co-hosts, so we can get this going a lot better. Ryan, MV Kev is asking what are we doing. We're talking about, well, we kind of already like finished talking about the main topic, but overall, we're just talking about how the devil, right, Satan, has completely and utterly just deceived the world for so long and continues to do so. And there's people out in the world who are in control of a lot of things, right, up in the higher positions that allow themselves to be used by the enemy. And yes, agreed. Green Floral says these are meaningful conversations we need. But Jorge, if your channel will be terminated, you are a bigger channel. Yeah, I know. And it is what it is. I would still, put the information out there regardless, one way or another. And I would make another channel, and I would keep doing it over and over again, just for the sake of getting the truth out there, getting the information out there. So, I mean, yeah, I'm hoping this channel would grow, but I'm also aware of that being a possibility. Yep. But I appreciate the words, though. Yes, I have questioned everything since 2006, I think. I think from 2006 forward, I've questioned everything. um, Uh, Me personally, I wouldn't go that far. I mean, the closest thing to that thought process would be the fact that we are indeed living in God's imagination, the same way that my cousin, presented that idea a few weeks ago. Um, yeah, that's the closest thing that I would agree on when it comes to that question. Is maybe I don't think we're in someone's simulation, but we are indeed, with no shadow of a doubt, in God's imagination for sure. So, hmm. Of course, that's just my personal opinion, though. We will all find out at some point, right? Whether it be in life or after death, right? Because I do believe in the afterlife. I do believe that uh, we are all, uh, we do have a life after this life, right? And my personal belief is, yeah, if you give your life to the Lord and you place your life in God's hands, and you have Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior, your afterlife will be with our Heavenly Father, right? And if you chose to live a life uh, pretty much away from God and away from Jesus, right, then you'll have eternity, but eternity in hell. And that's just the way it is, you know? Yep, this is true and true. Yeah, no, I actually shared that in my Instagram stories. I put the image. I think it was a call for an uprising who shared it first. But yeah, that's gonna happen. Both in Arizona and also what was the other place? I know it's somewhere else, either somewhere in California or somewhere in Chicago or something along those lines. But yeah, it's gonna be like an actual thing, I guess. And yes, Wendy says CERN is opening up. Y'all ever notice, now that Wendy brought that up, y'all ever notice how in some of these like past movies, like pre-millennium, like pre 2000, and even some like post 2000. When speaking of or trying to present or project or display like futuristic type visuals or like futuristic futuristic type references or space references, and like a spaceship is going through traveling somewhere, it's like going through a tunnel. The same exact way they present that is like how CERN looks on the inside. It's crazy. I don't know if anyone like has ever noticed that here, but yeah, like I just saw like the Matrix again like a day or two ago, and that scene where like the ship is like going through tunnels or whatever, it instantly reminded me of like CERN. Yep, yep, I have. Yep. Now this is a tough one because yeah, supposedly, which I want to believe that it actually happened because the way it happened, it was very intense. But some say that this was like supposedly like made up afterwards or whatever. But but yeah, I really hope this was true because it kind of like gives you like a sign of like, look at this guy. The announced, you know what I'm saying? Oh, he like worshipped Lucifer and Satan his whole life, and on the deathbed, he saw what was coming and was really afraid and really scared, and yeah. But who knows, man? Who knows? Uh, yeah, I could. I could. Just make sure you send it to my Facebook Messenger, I think. Either Facebook Messenger or I guess like through Instagram DMs. Yeah, I know. I think I saw like a documentary on that where yeah, his wife said it. But I don't know, man. I don't know. I mean, I really do hope it is true. I mean, either way, whether he like accepted Christ on deathbed or didn't, like if he did, it shows you, you know what I'm saying, how much like um it's actually worth it from changing from like one team to the other. But if he didn't, and but he still kind of like saw what was coming and was like, oh, like what have I done? What have I done? Type of scenario. That's also powerful as well. You know. Yep. I thought I did have you on Facebook. But yeah, just send it, and I'll share it. Share it through the DMs. Like if you share it through the Instagram DMs, I still have the ability to share it. Oh, y'all heard that? My neck. I just cracked my neck just now. I'm long overdue for a massage and a chiropractor visit, but all in due time, I guess. Yep, this is something that my cousin used to say all the time. Whether it be when he was like high or not high, he used to say this all the time. It's television, trying to program us up. Yep. Okay, cool. Okay, yeah. Yeah, I've seen this before. Give me one second. I'm gonna share the tab with you guys. Hopefully, Instagram don't act all crazy tonight. Oh man. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Just one last thing. If you can send it to my JDQ just don't quit account, I'll appreciate it because I forgot that on the computer. For whatever reason, I'm not signed into the your boy JDQ account. So try sending it again, but just to the other account, the JDQ just don't quit. Because yeah. Mm, okay, cool. All right. So here we go. Here we go. Let me just kind of do this and do this. And I wonder if I can, yeah. Bear with me, guys. Bear with me. I'm gonna save it so I can expand the image itself. It won't let me enlarge it straight up on the site. So, oh my goodness. Now typing all slow. It's not good. Excuse me. Apologize. Okay, so just okay. Window. Okay, almost there, guys. I apologize. It's giving me like a little bit of a problem here, but yeah, almost got it. You- Hopefully, it lets me like share that specific tab. There we go. Okay, sorry about that, Constantine. Y'all can see this, right? I hope y'all can like see it because I can see it on my end, but I don't know if you guys can see it right away. Wendy, I'm actually glad you brought that up. Okay, so let's explain the whole logo of the channel, right? So yeah, I told my sister from the get go how I wanted the logo or whatever, right? But talking with her, and kind of going through the, pretty much the creation of the logo, I knew for a fact that a lot of people that are in the truther movement or are truth seekers, however you want to call it, they are going to right away be like, oh, that's Illuminati, that's the eye and all that. And for the most part, I really, really, honestly, to up until like the very end, I did not want that as like the logo. However, however, because it goes so extremely well with, uh, you know, pretty much like what is talked about on this channel, right? Then I was like, you know what? It is going to cause a little bit of what's the word I'm looking for? Controversy or whatever. And it is what it is. So long as the people that enter, whether it be out of curiosity or not, to this channel, are aware that we are against the Illuminati and we're against, what the mainstream media tries to carry out, right? The agendas that are formulated against us and all that, then it is what it is. But yeah, so pretty simple, pretty straightforward. What surrounds the eye, like what's surrounding the pupil, right? Sound waves, right? So this channel is about talking and analyzing music, analyzing the mainstream and secular music, and pretty much like going deep into Christian music and analyzing it and comparing the both to each other, right? And then you have the pupil in the middle, obviously to let you know it's an eye, right? And the vision eye view on the bottom, right? But that's all it really is. If anybody here follows like a call for an uprising, a lot of people will say the same thing about his channel. Oh, part of the Illuminati, he's got the eye, he's got the pyramid or whatever. But if you look closely and look at the logo closely, it's a crying, like a Illuminati eye that's crying, meaning like it's burning in fire, meaning that it's being destroyed. So, I mean, I know the logo kind of like might cause controversy, but that's something I really can't control too much, without yeah, it's just gonna happen. It is what it is. Yeah, man. I love A Call for an Uprising. He's one of the ones that led to like my awakening like a few years ago. So I look up to him in many ways, and I respect the guy. He has played a large role in me like actually opening my eyes to like the truth of the world. And big shout out to him. He does a great job. He's been doing a phenomenal job for years, and his content is just ongoing. And I don't know how he does it, but he's been doing it for years, and he has no sign of like stopping anytime soon. So yeah, a huge shout out to A Call for an Uprising. Psychedelics. Well, we're going to talk about it right now, but this is going to be the last side topic that we talk about before I end the stream. I'll just put it to you this way: anything that elevates your mind superficially, right? Um, pretty much is not to be messed with. Let's just put it that way. That's just my personal opinion, my personal belief, right? There's a reason why God wants us to stay sober, right? When dealing with like psychedelics or anything that causes you to be like spiritually uplifted and all this other stuff, you're messing with the spirit realm, right? Right now, you and me as human beings, we have not been yet transformed, right? Because if you're of Christ, if you're of God, and you're waiting to be called up, right, to heaven, it says that we will be transformed, meaning that our spirit is going to take on another body, right? Why is that needed? Well, so that we can be ready to experience what's awaiting us, right? So when you play around with psychedelics and anything that kind of like lifts or kind of like manipulates your spirit or helps you get in tune with the spirit realm itself without being ready for it, a lot of things can happen. You could be deceived with by demonic forces. You could be deceived spiritually. There's people that have been uplifted spiritually, and they have found like what they call like spirit guides and whatever, and they get led to false religions and false beliefs and all this other stuff. So my personal opinion and belief about psychedelics is don't play around with them, don't do them, because our bodies are not meant to experience any of that right here on the physical realm. So yeah, those are my thoughts. All right. So that being said, guys, that being said, I am gonna start little by little closing the stream. Uh, hopefully on the next freestyle like stream, which I consider this to be one, I'm able to have some of my co-hosts on here to help me get through the topic and conversation along with you guys. But this was good. This was good. I believe every stream that this channel has had lately has been of a blessing to everyone who has entered, everyone who has actually taken the time to like listen to the conversation itself and add to it, like Constantine and Emily have, and even Dream Floral. Um, but yeah, so I want to thank you guys for taking the time to be here with me. I really do appreciate it. You guys are the best supporters. You guys are the best viewers. I've always said that, and I'll always say that. Especially on this channel, you guys have a lot to add within the conversation, within the topics, and I really do appreciate that because it's what keeps the conversation going, right? So yeah, let me just make sure I close out. It's a possibility, man. It's a possibility, and nothing can be ruled out when it comes to like the Antichrist topic. Nothing can be ruled out. It could be literally anyone. I mean, the Bible does give certain specifications in different parts of the Bible, but yeah, we can't rule that out as a possibility. The artificial intelligence being Antichrist could be. It's a possibility. Yeah, man, I agree 1,000%. And I definitely will have you on one of these streams. So be on the lookout when it comes to like the DMs on Instagram, and yeah, just be on the lookout for that because obviously I would love to have someone uh, that both is into these conversations and topics, and at the same time might have possibly either the same or more information than I do. So yep, you guys are great, man. You guys are great, and I really do love being in the presence of you guys. Good night, bro. I appreciate that. Yeah, could be too late because I mean it says in the Bible that um, he won't appear or come until the church has been lifted, right? So if you didn't go up and to meet Jesus, to meet the Lord, whether it be in the rapture or whatever belief you have about that, which is another conversation for another day, then yeah, if you're still here, you will definitely see the Antichrist, and it's not going to be good. So let's just leave it there. Anyways, guys, good night. Um, yeah, man. Yeah, yep. I will. Trust me. I do not bring up. I don't bring anybody on here without them being prepped. So you got my word that I'll tell you in advance. Yes, same here. Much love. Yes, always searching for the truth. Wherever the truth leads, that's where I want to be. Right. Yep. All right. Yes, one more thing, guys. If y'all can do me a huge favor and share this channel and these streams forward to your family, your friends, coworkers, anything anyone who you think would benefit from them, I appreciate it. Also, if you wanted to help a brother out, okay, bottom left, bottom right are the QR codes for helping a brother out. All right, if you want to help support the channel, help keep me moving forward with this channel, I'll appreciate it. You don't have to, but if you can and want to, the QR codes are right there on the bottom left and bottom right for you guys to pitch in and help me move forward financially with keeping the channel alive. That way, we can give you guys better streams, better quality content, better visuals, better everything in the long run. All right. That being said, guys, God bless every single one of you. I love every single one of you as well. Y'all have a blessed night and a blessed awakening tomorrow as well. Uh, and yeah, thank you guys for being a part of this. I really do appreciate every single one of you guys. Appreciate that, bro. That honestly means a lot to me. It really does. All right, guys. God bless. Love y'all. And as always, peace out.